Hi there and welcome to the Explaining History YouTube channel. I want to talk about the questions I get asked about Hitler, of all people, for a moment. Hitler is the person I get asked most about. A couple of others, people like Winston Churchill and Martin Luther King, but normally it's all about Hitler. We have a worldwide Hitler obsession. Quite unnecessarily, I would say, a significant, if horrific 20th century figure, but by no means the most significant, I would humbly submit. But that's a different argument altogether. But I tend to get asked questions about Hitler's private life, and I want to say about this that it's kind of approaching it from the wrong direction. The private lives of leaders, questions of things like sexuality, mental health, drug use, that sort of thing, are rarely the determining factors in the course of historical events. Normally, the question as to whether a leader is mentally stable or not are based around a kind of a misunderstanding of what we view as sane or insane. You could argue that Hitler is irrational in a number of key regards, that he has poor judgment, and a number of other things. But by and large, Hitler was sane in the sense that he was able to distinguish, up until the end of the war, what was real and what was not. By the time he's in the bunker and he's very unwell and the Russians are marching on Berlin, then arguably he's losing touch with reality. But what we view as sane or insane is a very fluid concept, but that's a whole different argument I don't really want to get into. The better way of looking at somebody like Adolf Hitler is not questioning something to do with their sexuality, as if that has any bearing on their thoughts and intentions at all. You get dictatorial figures with all sorts of sexualities, and there is no correlation between any sexual behaviour and wanting to invade Poland, for example. Instead, think of the causes of Hitler and Nazism and the Nazi regime and the Second World War as being far bigger phenomena. So we're talking about things like economics, the legacy of the First World War, the Great Depression, the long cultural and psychological institutions within German history, the traditions within German history that seem to veer towards authoritarianism, but up to the 1930s. These kinds of things. I guess let's go through this little thought exercise of what would have happened if Hitler had been killed in the First World War. Well, the idea that Nazism or something like it wouldn't have emerged or was unlikely to have emerged is probably naive. Hitler, if he had been killed in the First World War, would probably have been replaced by somebody similar. There were many potential Hitlers milling around in Bavaria in the immediate post-war era. So Hitler himself he brings his own idiosyncratic brand of totalitarian politics to Nazism, but a similar figure would doubtless have emerged. Whether they would have enjoyed the same degree of success, I'm not sure. But the reason why I say this is because the correct historical conditions were there for someone like Hitler to arise. So Hitler's personal characteristics, his personal persuasions, interests and private life, whilst they make for good telly, they don't make for good history particularly. It's not that important or interesting. Perhaps a kind of like a footnote. So beware of chasing the footnote and ignoring the main fundamental big stuff. Hope you found this useful, and remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.